Ever wonder what really separates a good athlete from a truly great one? It's not just about hours on the field. It's about knowing the incredible machine you're working with. Today, we're going inside the athlete's body to explore the science that powers every single victory. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the absolute basics, the blueprint of the body. Then we'll look at the framework, the engine, and how it all gets its fuel. And finally, we'll tie it all together and see why this stuff is a total game changer for sports. Let's jump in. Think about it. What actually makes that perfect sprint possible? To even begin to answer that, you have to understand the body on two different levels. You need the parts list, sure, but you also need the user manual. And that gets right to the heart of structure versus function. All right, so that brings us to our first big idea, figuring out the difference between the body's structure and its function. Basically, it's knowing what something is versus knowing what it does. Here's the easiest way to think about it. Take the heart, for example. Anatomy tells you what it is. It describes the four chambers, the valves, its physical shape. It's the map. But physiology, that tells you how it works. That's the instruction manual explaining the incredible rhythm of it contracting and relaxing to pump blood through your body. You absolutely need both to understand the machine. So, now that we've got the blueprint, let's talk about the framework, the actual scaffolding that everything else is built on. This is what gives us our shape and allows us to move. And the foundation for every single athletic movement comes down to this number, 206. That's how many bones make up an adult skeleton. But this is no static sculpture, not at all. It's a dynamic system, all connected by this tough, flexible network of tendons, ligaments, and cartilage. And you can basically split the whole thing into two main parts. First, you've got the axial skeleton. That's your core, your skull, ribs, and spine. Its main job? Protecting your most vital organs. And then everything else, your arms and your legs, that's the appendicular skeleton. And that part is built for movement. It's so much more than just a simple frame. Yeah, it supports you and protects your organs, but it's also the anchor for your muscles to pull against so you can move. And get this, it's even a factory, constantly producing new blood cells. Pretty amazing, right? Of course, all that movement is only possible because of how our bones connect at the joints. And we've got a huge range. Some are completely fixed, like the plates in your skull, but the ones athletes care about most are those freely movable joints in the shoulder, the elbow, and the knee, which give us that incredible range of motion. Okay, framework is in place. Now, let's talk about the engine that actually powers it. Because without the muscular system, our skeleton would just be a statue, completely incapable of moving. So if the skeleton is the frame, the engine is made up of about 600 different muscles. These are the soft tissues that contract and pull on that skeleton, creating every single motion you can possibly think of, from a tiny blink to an explosive, all-out sprint. And what makes a muscle comes down to these four things. It can contract to generate force. It's excitable, meaning it responds to a nerve signal telling it to go. It has extensibility, so you can stretch it out for a big kick. And maybe most importantly, it has elasticity, so it can snap right back to its original shape. All right, you've got this amazing engine, right? But it's not going anywhere without fuel and a delivery system. So let's dive into the two systems that work together to get energy to every single muscle fiber in your body. It all kicks off with breathing, with the respiratory system. This is our body's essential link to the outside world, this remarkable machine for gas exchange. It's constantly bringing in the oxygen we need and getting rid of the waste product, carbon dioxide. And this whole process happens in two key stages. External respiration is the simple part. That's just breathing, the gas exchange happening in your lungs. But the real magic for an athlete is internal respiration. That's when the oxygen gets delivered directly to your muscle cells, where it's used to create the energy that fuels every single move. So how do we get that precious oxygen from the lungs all the way to the muscles? Well, for that, we rely on the body's ultimate transport network, the circulatory system. Think of it like a super efficient highway system running through your entire body. And at the center of it all is the heart, this relentless four-chambered pump. The path it sends blood on is just genius. Deoxygenated blood comes into the right side, gets pumped to the lungs for an oxygen refill. Then that fresh, oxygen-rich blood comes back to the left side, ready to be powerfully pumped out to the rest of the body. It's an amazing loop. Now, those highways I mentioned are the arteries and veins. And here's the easy way to remember the difference. arteries carry blood away from the heart. That's why they're thick and muscular. They have to handle all that pressure. Veins, on the other hand, bring the blood back, so they're built a little differently for their specific job. Okay, so we've built the machine, we've got the framework, we've got the engine, and we've got the fuel delivery systems all in place. Now for the big question. Why does any of this matter on the field or the court or the track? Let's connect the dots. So why have we gone through all of this? It's simple, really. You can't fine-tune an engine if you don't even know how the pistons and the fuel lines work. Understanding your own body, really understanding it, is the very first step to mastering it. This is the knowledge that makes all the difference. It takes your training from just being guesswork to being a precise science. It helps you build strength the smart way, lets you see injuries coming and prevent them, and helps you recover way faster. This is the science behind the art of sports. So when you look at it all, the framework, the engine, the fuel lines, all working in perfect harmony, you have to ask, what's the one thing that actually connects all of these systems? The answer isn't a body part. It's an idea. It's your potential. Because at the end of the day, understanding the inner workings of this incredible machine isn't just some boring science lesson. It is the absolute key to unlocking your outer performance, to pushing past your limits, and to discovering what you are truly capable of achieving.